In a previous lecture, I spoke about the important section of a book called the front matter, and we don't have that front matter component built into this book right now. And rather than try and explain it sort of piece by piece, I figured the simplest thing to do was actually copy it from an existing book. So let's open up a recent project. How about we take my Evernote Exposed book? Now, one thing I wanted to point out was for each project, you get a separate window. Cool, huh? So let us go take a look. Notice that we're now looking at the Evernote Exposed, and look at this. I've created a separate folder and I've called it Front Matter. And inside Front Matter, it's made up of two documents. See? There's that, which is essentially what you might call the title sheet inside the book. And then there's that. So let's just drag that off to the side a sec and come back here. So does that mean we can add a folder? Well, of course it does. So if we click on Add and hold it down, you'll see it says New Folder. We've now created a new folder, which sort of, does it look the same as this? See, no, it's not, right? Because this folder is at the same level as this. This one is not. See? It's always inside. So that's not what we need. So what we have to do is move that to trash. And what we have to do is a bit different. We need to add, let's see if I can do it down here, add a new folder. And again, it's added it down here. Let's go above. There we go. So click it and drag it above. And we're going to call this one Front Matter. Oops. Front Matter. See? And we're going to expand it by clicking on the little arrow. Then what we're going to do, rather than reinvent the wheel, is we're going to take a look at Evernote Exposed and see how it compares. You see, Evernote Exposed, this is one of my books, by the way, that was a bestseller. As you can see, it's made up of this section here, the draft, just like over here. So here's the mobile marketing book, and there's research and trash, and here's Evernote Exposed and research and trash. And in the research section, you can see I've added in various bits and pieces which are not compiled into the book, other than, of course, where I link into the cover. And the Front Matter allows me to create special stuff for the front. And as you can see, I've got sort of the front of my book. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to add a new document. And I'm going to just call it Title Cover or something. I can't remember what it said on the other book. And then I'm going to paste that in. What did I call it? I'll see over here, I gave it the same name as the book. I'm just going to say Title, just because I can. And then over here, I typed in, of course, everything is green, but I typed in the name of my book. Well, let's see. I'm going to call this Mobile Marketing. Remember, we're building a book live here. Mobile Marketing eBook, Tips and Tricks for Mobile Marketing. Never said it had to be particularly inspired. 2015. Let's select everything. Let's pick a decent font. Let's go with Arial. Let's, I don't know, step it up to 18 point. And that's I don't want this in green. So you can see me picking certain things here. There we go. Mobile Marketing. You know what? That's a lame title. Mobile Marketing Tips and Tricks. How's that? There we go. Made up name for my book. Now what's important to note here is I'm just sort of tinkering with various settings. Remember, when you go to compile, I'm going to tell it to mark the title page as is. So that's how you create Front Matter. Remember, compile, and then if we look for Front Matter under Contents, see, add Front Matter, ta-da! Now if I pick the folder, any document that I add in here will be included. So I'm going to pick that for now, because it means later if I add extra documents to the Front Matter section within the binders, it will be automatically included in my book. Notice on the title page, I'm going to do a page break before, and I'm going to do an as is. Sorry, I'm not a page break before the title, but I want a page break on the title that comes after it. So in other words, it prints that, throws a page, and starts there. You follow? So that page will be as is with the way I set it up, and then it'll throw a page break and start brand new on this one. And then basically I could hit compile and it would spit out another little EPUB book just like that. Okay, that is how you add a Front Matter section to your book. Now, while we're on the subject of front matter, take a look here on the Evernote Exposed book. I have something called a bonus section. It kind of strikes me as weird, don't you think? Well, watch this. You could drag a section out of a book and you could drop it into another one, and it copied it. See that? So I've got a copy of it now. So I'm going to close the Evernote Exposed book. I don't need it. I'm going to throw away the compile because I'm not doing that just yet. But let's go check out the page I just dragged over. And I'll explain why I've put it here. This is bonus get behind the scenes access to the author's Evernote book. Obviously, this is a made up book to do with mobile marketing. So we need to think of a special bonus. I don't know, bonus get, 3 months. Whoops, I can't type. Months access to James. Again, I still can't type. Newfangled membership site. Of course, this doesn't really exist, and I'm making it up. I'm going to just throw this away, and we're just going to change all these fonts to something that makes a lot of sense. Doesn't really matter what font I'm going to use because I'm not going to set it to use as is. The point I need you to understand, though, is this. I'm just going to do this for now. jamesburchell.com. It doesn't really matter what you put on this page. What does matter is that you have one. Okay? You see, the front matter of my book now says Mobile Marketing Tips and Tricks, which is my made-up title of my book. But why is there a bonus section in the front matter? Well, the reason there's that is because when you compile a book and you upload it to Amazon, Amazon allows anybody who's looking at your book to get a free view of the first 10% of your book. Yeah? You kind of catch that? Because what that means is, technically, even if they don't buy my book, they could see this bonus. And even if they don't buy it, I could, if I was smart about it, if this was an opt-in page, I could drive people from this front bonus on this book to a lead page where I could capture their email address and add them to my list, even if they didn't buy my book. This stuff's really kind of important. Speaking of which, in another lecture, I'm going to talk to you more about the actual design of a book structure, but this is obviously part of one of my recommended book structures, and it's something I recommend you consider adding. So you put front matter, you put a title where you put something like this. Your title, you don't need by. Just say your name, whether it's the first, second, or third edition, all the rights, something like this. This is your title sheet. And then come up with a bonus. And you don't need to add this, but it's a good idea because it allows you to drive people to your lead capture page, even if they don't buy your book. And then you go into your book. And then at the end of the book, the other bits and pieces, which we'll talk about in another lecture.